For the third time, we are making this video YouTube. My name is Chase. I am your host of the Plebcast. I have Colton
Oh,
with me. And what
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
don't go
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the host. Like I'm the one that bring the energy. You got the analytics, I got the energy.
Okay. You don't think I got the energy, bro?
I mean, you do sometimes, but like that's
Okay,
me, bro.
okay.
Bro, I'm
That's
coming
okay.
off a
I
stream.
got
You know what
you.
I'm
Yeah,
on right
yeah. We
now
got streamer Chase back, baby.
for like
I
30
was, I
minutes.
was hyped. I was hyped. Okay.
Uh, yeah, we like I said, we've recorded this. This is the third time we've
Third
recorded this
time.
video. The past two times we recorded it, roster moves have happened literally like a day after. So
I
here
was
we
gonna
are.
upload it the day of the roster changes like happening, and then I'm just like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So to not look like jackasses, we're recording it again. We know more roster moves are going to happen. We know it's a possibility some happen tomorrow.
but we
But
have more. I will say, sorry to cut you off, but like we have more of like inside of like every roster, and they're pretty much confirmed. Like this list that we have here in front of us, like this article, has every leaked roster, and they've all been coming true so far on this list. So this should be like a very, very reliable source for every roster. So we
yeah,
should be able to
use
go
code
depths.
COLXN on
Yes,
Rogue
sir.
Energy
I was about to get in
products.
that next. Yo, YouTube. This is kind of like the announcement of it, I guess, for YouTube. I've already announced it everywhere else, but Rogue
You
Energy.
announced it on Instagram?
No, I don't
You a
use Instagram
bitch.
like that. But Rogue Energy. That is my new sponsor. If you haven't heard of them, they're just kind of like a G Fuel type thing. Yeah. I'm on the website right now. It's just I'll put the link in the description to the website in the description below if you want to order some Rogue Energy. But I'll go through the shop. You could you get some for free. You can choose your sample sizes or you choose 3 flavors of sample. All you have to do is pay for shipping. If you like them, you obviously can get tubs, shaker cups, stuff like that. Yeah, it's dope. But yeah, use code HOLTXN at your checkout. Any Rogue Energy purposes, it would really be appreciated. But yeah, plug over with.
I'm sipping on this G Fuel.
Plug over with. Yeah. So let's get into the rosters. We could just start at I mean, the
Let's just
first
start at
few.
the top.
Yeah, the first few
I'm not
rosters are
gonna
gonna be
lie. I
gonna be
don't want
meh.
to talk about who got dropped again.
Yeah. We want. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. But starting at the top, as you can see on the article too, anything in bold is like option extended, already locked in type vibes. Regular is likely joining, waiting for any announcement, and in italics it's unsure, but currently most likely an option. But like I said, every roster that has been listed, even if it wasn't sure or unsure type vibes, have been coming true on this list. So yeah, first off, LA Thieves, what a shocker! They're sticking together. They're world champs. I don't think
Yeah.
we need to go too depths into the LA Thieves.
Can't wait to see how the COD champs curse hits those boys.
Yeah, that's that's just sad.
Raja.
Fuck it then. Yeah.
The optic. I mean, sure, the rosters has changed, or the same. The only thing we really need to talk about is how Dashki and Illy got dropped for
For,
like 12 hours. Uh,
apparently, well, I just want to say apparently on according to Seth and the team, it was like 3 days, but like the announcement came like you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah. They
like
worked it out.
they worked it out. They were talking
Optic's
about
gonna
it for
run it back.
yeah. They hashed out other issues. We chilling. We chilling.
Bruce needs to grow up.
Hopefully, I mean the thing about Optic Tests, I want to say before um moving on to the next roster, we know the capabilities and talents of this team. When they're at their best, they won Major One. It's not like they can't win. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of happy they stuck it out because this is a very championship caliber roster, and they've proved it. Whenever they're all healthy, they can win. So yeah. Either way,
Seattle Surge, not much to talk about. They're sticking.
they're running it back.
Uh, all this team is gonna be a question is how do Pred and Sib do in their sophomore seasons?
Yeah, I mean,
If
the-
there was gonna be a change, obviously there's not a change, but if there was gonna be one, I would say it would be the AR for
probably.
accuracy. Go after a better AR, but they're gonna run it back with him.
Yep.
This team, see how they'll do next year. I have faith in us, man.
I mean, they're a talented roster, man. You know, I have faith
Yeah.
that they can get it together. I don't think Civ and Pred are gonna slow down. So
Uh, the roster that got announced today, the
today,
Minnesota Rocker,
yes,
Afro
sir.
attached Bance Cammy, Fame is a substitute. As you can see,
And
the
Real, by the
web
way.
yeah, the website hasn't updated that this is confirmed, but this is the confirmed roster.
Yep.
It just got announced today. Afro and Bance are going to be sick subs,
Yeah,
sub machine gun
I'm
players.
excited for that duo, man.
Uh, Probably gonna stick attach on a flex, I'd
Nah,
imagine.
main. Nah, main.
Okay,
Attach is
yeah.
main. Cammy's flex.
That's gonna be good. Attached is an AR. We were talking about it the other day. He's super slow, and yeah, he's run a submachine gun before, but with how slow attach plays, it's honestly better with an AR in his hand
Yeah, he's
at this
gonna.
stage.
I think this roster from top to bottom, like I give props to Minnesota for like, because this is if you really think about it, like besides for Ben and Afro, which they probably probably paid a lot for them. Let's be honest, they're not gonna pay players of those calibers the minimum, right?
Yeah,
So those two are gonna be on pretty hefty contracts. And then to get attached to come back, that's a pretty hefty contract. And then you bought out Cammy as well, who was a restricted free agent. They paid probably a shit ton of money for
yeah,
this
they
roster.
spent a lot of money on this roster, that's for sure.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm excited for this roster, man. They're talented from top to
Van's gonna be
bottom.
the dirty work boy.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see Afro just go out and slay everything along with Cammy.
yeah.
It should be a fun roster to watch.
I I think in terms of Rostermania, you know, in terms of Battle of the North, I think Minnesota took home the dub here. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie, Minnesota been the kings of the North.
I mean, yeah, but I mean last year Toronto kind of had them. You know what I'm saying?
They both. I think
But
it's pretty even. I think. I mean, sure, they got second at champs. Toronto did, but when you get reverse swept in the grand finals, you ain't a king of shit.
yeah, I mean they definitely won though. You know what I'm saying? They took
Yeah.
home the roster and a half.
Yeah,
Like I
for
said, I
sure.
just got to give big props, and this team's talented. They're gonna work hard. They're gonna be vibey, man. They're gonna be scary. They're gonna be
Speaking
scary.
of huge buyouts, unprecedented contracts, the Los Angeles Gorillas. They're the first team to sign players to actual multi-year deals.
Yes. Um.
Spart and Arcides,
Well, first of
uh,
all, into the roster: Huke, Arcides, Spart, Neptune. But yes,
replace Slasher with Arcides. That's a hefty buyout right there for
yes,
Alec.
yes, because he
Uh,
was a restricted free agent.
and then to sign him to a 3-year deal as soon as you get him, and then I understand signing Spart a little bit because when he came on last year, he was the spark for the team.
Yep. I think
I
Spart's super
won't s-
talented, man.
I won't say I agree with giving him a 3-year contract, but we'll see how it works out. Uh, I mean, it's like we could say this every time, and we do say it about almost every roster except Las Vegas's rosters. Uh, the team is talented on paper.
Yes, they are.
Uh, Alec, I imagine he's going to be the leader of this team.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
Uh, this is a big year for Neptune, in my opinion. His rookie year in Cold War is like, okay, there's potential there.
Oh yeah, you
And
saw his like talent prevail in Cold War really well, actually.
mhm. Vanguard, I know he got screwed over with a injury or something or
He
a
had
sickness.
he was no yeah he was super injured, and on top of that, the New York camp was
That's what I was gonna
in
say. So
shambles.
so his sophomore year was not that amazing. Uh, so this is a big proving year for him, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
I feel like it's you go out there, you you be a super you be a superstar that the team needs you to be, and that cements you in the league. If you play kind of average, you probably won't be in the league again.
I
Just how I
mean,
see things.
yeah. uh, I mean, from what I've seen, people aren't like too crazy hype on this roster. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong,
They
because
say they're top 6.
like I get why they say that. They're saying that like we already saw this trio try and work with Slasher, and they didn't really do crazy well. Like Slasher was the most consistent out of the three when they teamed together. So they weren't like super hype about this trio sticking
Talk for a
together.
little bit. I gotta go put my pizza in.
Oh, you're good. But the thing I want to say about this trio um is I feel like this trio wanted to run it back because I feel like people aren't really like taking into consideration how short stint this trio actually played together. They only played together for like Major 4 and Champs. That's it. So it's not like they got a crazy amount of time together. Um and we all know how sometimes, the younger players don't like Slasher's way of leading. So, who knows if that played a factor in that as well, but I think this is going to be a super underrated roster in my opinion. I don't think they're going to be like, I know people aren't a fan of the roster, but I don't think they're gonna be. Dude, you have Kyler, Neptune, Spartan, Arcides. I don't think those four. I mean, you never know with any roster, but like, I don't. They just don't spark me as like an average team. For some reason, I don't know. I guess I have more faith in the other people than what other people are saying in this roster. Sorry, my dogs are going crazy, but I think in terms of like Alec, I think he wants to play with these guys. It's made it obvious because I think Alec had the freedom to go wherever he wanted. Realistically, like Arcides is a very very high regarded player. So, um,
And we're back.
oh, welcome back, Chase.
I'll be back in. I gotta go back down in like another 10 minutes to take it out.
You're good. I was just talking about how it's still going around the lines of like how people aren't a fan of this roster, and I think that's like too unfair to say in my opinion because I don't think people
I have
understand like I don't think the trio of Hook, Spartan, Neptune, like people say that like it didn't work, but they only played together for like a month or two. They didn't play for
also I think something to take into consideration is personalities of players. It's for some players it's really hard to play with Slasher, and that's not
that's
a knock
I
at
said that
Slasher.
too.
I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
But I brought that up. I said who knows if the whole Slasher as a teammate thing brought these guys down too. But
yeah.
I was just saying like I feel like this is gonna be a very underrated roster. I feel like I like this roster more than other people do because I think it's very very obvious that our cities could have gone. Realistically speaking, like if you're dropping RCDs and RCD is not going to stay on phase, RCD is going to have a lot of leverage over a lot of teams and go wherever he wants at that standpoint, right?
I like the reason he came here because of Spart's tweet saying the team should be a unit, and I would
Yes,
definitely agree with Alec
yes.
that FaZe was not a unit
Phase
last
was
year.
not, and that's what I was going to go into is like RCDs finds like I mean, Hook, Spartan, Neptune are playing a lot of Chows in the offseason together. You know what I'm saying? Or like
Hmm.
specifically Spartan, Neptune more. But like those three are playing Chows consistently. They obviously like the vibes together. And then Arcides coming in. He's a vibey player as well. He's not as hard headed as Slasher. So me personally, I don't think I don't get why people are hating on this roster so hard. Personally,
My thing with I don't think it's fair or FaZe if what Alec is. I know he said he felt like the blame was on him. I don't think it's fair or FaZe to even do that if they did. I'm not saying that they did, but if they were mostly blaming Alec, that's not fair to him. Because if we're being honest, everyone but Cell was struggling. Every one of them.
Yeah, and I mean, Cell's a beast. You know what I'm saying? Me and you have
Hmm.
been me and you have been like vouching for him to win MVP since the CDL existed, right?
I mean, I'm pretty
So,
sure the person everyone says is the best submachine gun, the future go to the league simp. I'm pretty sure he went 6-22 in the grand finals, map one.
yeah, I mean,
And like I said, it's not fair to Alec
I,
to put
I,
all the blame on him. Everyone except Cell struggled on that phase roster last year. They all slacked
I,
except Cell.
I agree. I think they really set Cell specifically up for success more than this year than they ever have.
I was also gonna say it's sort of screwed to. I mean, I know you want to set Cell up for success, move him to the main AR, but Alec is a main AR.
Yeah.
He is not a flex. I never want to see Alec with a submachine gun in his hand. It's sort of like how I don't want to see Subtane.
And I mean, with this LA roster, you won't. You just won't. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So I like I said, I feel like this roster is getting too much hate in my opinion. I like this roster as a core. They're
I
super
agree.
vibey. They want to play together. I think they have the potential to win. I really do. So
Uh, yeah, I agree. I don't like this phase roster if this comes true.
it's going to be probably.
I know. I don't like it though.
I like it, but it's I a lot of people are saying that RCD should have never been dropped, which I agree. They should have ran it back.
Do you know why I don't like it?
Why?
What we were just talking about. These three motherfuckers, the Tiny Terrors, and
So
definitely Cell, they are not going to mesh with Slasher.
see,
They are super vibey ass kids. That's not going to work well with Slasher. Slasher's gonna try to get it. It's like we've always said, Slasher's way, the highway. With this phase team, it's sort of Simp's way or the highway. He's the leader of the team. Slasher, and I know Slasher's not coming in to be the leader of the team, but Slasher should have went to a team where he's going to go and be a leader, not where he's going to play backup for three superstars.
I see. I agree. I this roster sparks a lot of potential, maybe internal issues. Um, I could see it happening for sure. But I want to point out the other side of the spectrum that I've seen people talk about is Slasher really calms down when he teams with people that he knows are gross, or like, Slasher for the past what a few years of his career has teamed with like rookies and people he probably didn't respect that much, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So Slasher's gonna come into this team, in my opinion, and respect the hell out of all three of these players, and that's without a doubt. And all
Until
three of
Cell
these,
starts making sexual jokes in the lobbies.
that's the only upside I see about this is Slasher potentially could calm down his attitude because he respects the hell and knows who he's fucking teaming with, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. And it's not, and he has Crowder as a coach again.
Is
It,
Crowder actually staying?
I think so. Yes. I haven't seen any rumors of him leaving, so I'm assuming he's staying. And if that's the case, going back to the 100T days, Crowder really did well on calming down Flasher and making that vibe work. You know what I'm saying? So
But now,
I could see potential like this. I mean, any person going into phase is going to be fucking blessed because they have a BC Cell and Simp as teammates. Let's be honest here. But like, I could see both sides of the spectrum where Slasher could respect the hell out of these three and calm down on the vibes a little bit, or there could be internal issues. You never know.
well, we were talking about Crowder keeping Slasher under control. Crowder's low-key losing control of the trio, I think, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
mean,
So if he, I mean, when it comes to keeping players under control, I think Crowder's gonna have to put his foot down with those three.
I
Get them to play right Call of Duty. We know they can play right Call of Duty. And I know Slasher will also want them to play correct Call of Duty instead of them all knowing no one can outgun us. We're about to break this with pure talent.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I could see it going both ways. I think, bro. Let's be realistic, bro. Like Slasher's gross individually too. Like any for the most part, any AR with those three teammates are probably gonna do well. and that's just a fact. So it's like this roster has the talent. They still have the talent to win. It's fucking Atlanta FaZe, but will it's like you said? Will this roster crumble internally? Is the question. So other than that, it's stacked from top to bottom.
The Ultra of Toronto. I don't like this roster.
I like it.
I don't
think
know a lot about Hixie.
he's like a Benjamin Vance, from what I've saw and heard. He's like Ben Vance vibes, but obviously challenger, younger, if that makes sense.
I sort of would have liked uh uh is Scrappy more of a flex or is he more of an SMG?
He's a flex. So Insight main, Scrappy flex, Hixie, Kleenex subs.
See, I sort of would have liked if they had Scrap go to a sub full time with Insight or Kleenex, sorry, with Clean Toby, and they go with Gunless as the flex. But
I
they already
mean,
made their decision.
this was easy. I mean, we all Scrappy was gonna be on the starting roster. We all
Let me
fucking
go
knew
check
that.
my pizza. You got this.
Alright. But
Sorry.
no, you're good. I mean, just getting into Toronto, like we knew they were probably not gonna stick together based on their performances and stuff like that from Vanguard season. They weren't as good. They probably didn't want to team with each other anymore, which is fine. It happens. It's business at the end of the day. And Scrappy was disgusting. So I think it was bound to happen that Scrappy gets his landing spot here in Toronto. Well deserved, if I might add. That kid was gross all freaking year. This roster I think is good. The thing that is a big question mark, obviously, for a lot of people on this roster is Hixie. If Hixie can perform the way he did on the Toronto Ultra NA team, he'll be fine. And I've also heard that Hixie is very like Bance like. He's gonna, take long routes. He's very vocal. From what I've heard, he IGL'd a lot in the Toronto Ultra NA camp. So if that's the case, I like that. I think this team dynamic could work really well together. But I think, obviously speaking, Hixie's probably going to be the biggest question mark on this roster. The other three are gross. We all know they're disgusting. Kleenex is gross. Insight's gross. Scrappy's gross. So if they can bring their team dynamic together and Hixie can perform, this roster should flourish pretty well. Yeah, that's all I want to say about Toronto, really. So Boston Breach, Nero, Vivid, Methods, and Awakening. Um, Awakening would be the replacement for TJ, which I think, honestly, no offense to TJ, but
We're talking about Boston?
yeah,
Yeah, I saw they just announced Methods before we recorded this.
yep. Methods made his comeback to the Boston Breach roster. If you guys didn't know, because it's updated on the website now, but before Methods was announced, they had Clay as a possible option here. Um, so that is obviously out of the picture now. Methods has re-signed. He is going to be the AR. The only player that is changing is Awakening, and TJ. But they're keeping their other core three players.
Yeah. I feel like I know where TJ could end up.
I know exactly where he's going.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas with TJ and Tim for a nice little duo.
Yeah, I have like
I feel like Gunless is gonna end up there too.
I got a roster in mind. It doesn't involve Gunless, sadly. But I like this roster, honestly.
Oh yeah, it could be a good roster. Good little roster.
I like
I
because
don't care what anyone says. I'll never be sold on Wake.
I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy to see what Wake does apart from Florida is my thing because obviously Caesar and Awakening have been teaming since the start of the CDL, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I want to see because Awakening wants to run a flex. He's made that abundantly clear. He doesn't want to run a sub, and that's what he was doing last year. And Methods in Awakening running the flex. Hopefully, he finally gets what he wanted, and we all know Awakening is talented. He drops stats. He can kill shit. That's for sure. So
Mhm.
hopefully we see some spark out of Awakening here because he's finally in the situation I feel like he wants to be in, where he could just run around and kill everything on the map. So it could work. I'm a fan of the roster. I like the Nero Vivid dynamic. I did at the end of Vanguard. I really like that combo, the sub duo combo out of them because they're both like hyper aggressive players. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And they bounce really well off each other. And then obviously Methods was super consistent last year, so this roster could work. Definitely could work.
New York. New
This is interesting.
York.
I'm not really a fan. I'm not gonna lie. This just
Not gonna
seems
lie,
like
I'm not either. Seems like
the
a thrown together roster.
yes, this is a very very like just thrown together roster. I will say though, like Kismet and Hydra as a sub duo worked really well. I'm not gonna knock that. Um, I think the biggest key factor to this roster is Preston or Priesta. Do we get Superstar Priesta back? Because if we do, this roster could actually be disgusting. But
I don't think they want that out of Priesthood though.
I mean, dude, I feel like he has to though because like, don't get me wrong, Kismet was disgusting last year with Hydra and stuff like that. Like, but I don't think as Kismet as like a superstar sub. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's my .85, .9 player, and in that aspect, you need Priesta to step up. You can't have. So it's like that's why he's my key. Like whatever, because obviously he's gonna be the flex for this team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Priesta's I love Priesta. I've always been a fan of Preston, but I need him to relock his BO4 MW Preston. You know what I'm saying? Where he was gross.
Go back to phase. Be the flex over there.
But yeah, I mean this roster, Hydra got what he wanted, teaming with Caesar. That's a plus.
Oh yeah.
But either way, this really does feel super thrown together. This roster, like, no offense, but it screams 12th through 9th place in standing. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I think this roster makes a change very early. But either way,
I don't know. I don't like this Florida roster.
yeah, this Florida roster. See, I mean, obviously, Florida, London. It even says so in the article. Florida, London, and Vegas. We honestly have no idea what these rosters could be. Like even in the article, you're
You
good.
go ahead. I mean.
Um, Florida set on the roster, but as you can see here, it says Asim, Gunless, Crim, Standy, Major Maniac, Havoc, and challenger players Vickle, Beans, and Wardy should all be options for this team. And they're looking for every option. This is just a roster that Crone or City L Intel heard could possibly be coming together here. But this Florida roster is honestly up for grabs, or up in the air still. Um, if I'm being honest, um, yeah, like I said, just these Florida and London are like the two rosters right now that honestly have I have personal no clue, or like no one knows what's gonna happen with them. You could see players like Beans and Wardy on London, most likely. You could see, like I said, any of these players are up for grabs. I'll get into a Vegas roster I have in mind very soon. But yeah, I don't know. This roster, if it becomes true, yikes. That's all I got to say about it. Is just yikes, man. That this just bro, they're gonna have to make a roster change early again. Like, oh wow, I don't know. I'm gonna move on. London, the only thing I could say here is Zero is 100% confirmed there. I know that for a fact. Paul X was talked about coming here. Um, but Paul X tweeted out him at a Vegas airport today, so that could be intel. You never know.
Ooh.
Oh, I was just talking about like this Florida London thing. I was talking about Zero's guaranteed on London. We all know that. Zero is London's locked player in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Paul X was talked to go there. I don't know if he's going to go there though because he tweeted out a picture of him at a Vegas airport today, and Donnie replied to it. All that stuff. So that could be until you never know. You never know though. Sometimes players like to bait and stuff like that. But I actually want to get into the Legion over London and Florida because London and Florida honestly is up in the air for me. Like I feel like even though in this article it says temp only, right? Uh I have a roster in mind for this game that could potentially be disgusting actually. You want to hear it?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Playster,
Okay.
um Donald,
DJ.
DJ, Sandy.
And ooh, Standy.
Mhm.
Interesting little roster.
But I don't it's just weird because like like let's say Paul X goes to Legion, right?
Right.
That pretty much chalks Clayster for me, in my opinion, because I feel like Paul would be a flex and Temp would be a main. Because like I said, I refuse to see Donald Temp on a sub. You know what I'm saying? Refuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if Paul X comes here, I think Temp main, Paul X flex, TJ and Standy or TJ. I've heard Venom possible is a rumor here too. So either way, like, but I think I think this roster becomes essentially what I said. Clay, Temp, TJ, and sub, no matter who it is.
It's an interesting roster.
I think it's I think it's one of the better rosters they've had.
For sure is.
Like,
I just feel bad for Tim that only 4 people, including him, are under that franchise.
Temp said Temp mentioned on stream, well it says in the article here, Temp mentioned on stream that Legion were no longer only paying the minimum salary for their players, which is a good start. For obviously, because players like Glacier aren't gonna take the minimum. I'll tell you that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but I see Glacier on this roster. I think Clay and Donnie are gonna team together. I also because Temp also said on stream that he wants to team with Teach, so I think that's another landing spot for TJ. Um, they just need a sub. I think Standy would be better than Venom in my opinion. I think that roster is gross, actually. But Venom wouldn't be a bad pickup either. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I'm not gonna lie, the teams that are left, like New York, Florida, London, I won't even say Vegas yet until I see the roster.
Yeah.
They're very thrown together. And it's like, okay,
Oh
these
yeah.
might be the bottom teams.
Oh yeah. See, but the thing with London, from what I've heard, they could be going after Beans and Wardy, who were gross in EU challengers. Like they were disgusting. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So Zero could be doing the same thing he did last year in a sense, where he finds two young players, aka Gizmo and Nasty, last year, right? And
Yeah.
teams up with them. But this time it would be Wardy and Beans, and whoever they get as a fourth. It could be Paul X. That's what it could be. See, that's why I like that. I like Zero Paul X Wardy Beans. That's gross. That's disgusting, actually. Disgusting. But who knows?
Well, hopefully you get this video up before any more rosters get announced.
I mean, see, but the thing is about this video that's different is like any roster that's gonna get announced, or the rosters on the sheet. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make a difference. That's why I wanted to do it again. Like like this article was the thing before even LAG announced their roster, and it had the same LAG lineup. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they announced Star Cities, and then next was Minnesota, which they had on here as the exact roster. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
that's where I have the comfort of like uploading this one now, because any announced roster, we're not gonna look dumb or talk about a potential roster that we didn't need to. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
we could have just gone in depth like we did. But
Yep.
either way, those are the rumored rosters, or quote unquote rumored rosters. They're probably gonna be the freaking rosters for the next year. The only thing I have to say is, like I said, Florida, London, and Vegas are completely up in the air still. Who the fuck knows about those guys? But every other roster from New York up on the sheet, it's locked. It's pretty much confirmed at this point. Or well, like some of them are still rumors, obviously, but they're gonna probably be the rosters for next year. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this Rostermania edition of the Plebcast. I'm excited for MW2. Any closing words, Chase?
Use Colt's promo code to get some Rogue Energy.
Yes, sir. Rogue
Send
Energy
me
sponsor.
pictures of you drinking G Fuel.
Yeah. Shout out.
I'm him on Valorant.
True. But
And
yeah, yet again,
yeah, I'm trying to get off before my mom gets
shout out
home.
Rogue Energy. Use code COLTXN at checkout. Like I said, it'll be in description. Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next edition of the Plebcast, whenever that is. If we have some news, we'll cover it. See ya.
Peace.